Hi, welcome back! Today's anime is a bit spicy. There's some normal kissing, girls kissing, the sensei sleeping with her student, and some betrayal action going on. Well, please enjoy this video!
Let's dive into our story with our main character, Hanabi. She's totally crushing on her big brother, who's also her childhood buddy, next-door neighbor, and now her teacher, Narumi, or sensei. But here's the twist, sensei himself has fallen head over heels for his co-teacher, sensei. Things got pretty frustrating for Hanabi, so she stormed out of the classroom and ended up colliding with Muji. Turns out, Muji has a thing for sensei. Muji then pulled Hanabi to the back of the school, and that's where they shared a kiss. But as their lips met, thoughts of their true loves lingered in their minds. Hanabi has her eyes set on Narumi-sensei, while Muji has fallen for sensei. Despite being in a relationship with each other, they are mere replacements for their true loves. To delve deeper into the story, let's rewind to the beginning. On Hanabi's first day of high school, she never imagined that her big brother would become her homeroom teacher. She was ecstatic because it meant she could see the person she loves every day. As Hanabi handed some papers to her big brother, who is now her sensei, she caught him in conversation with a female teacher. This annoyed Hanabi because she had been secretly watching her big brother for a while, and this was the first time she saw him like that. While walking down the hallway, Hanabi overheard some guys talking about their admiration for the new music teacher, mentioning how young she looks and their chances with her. Hanabi shot them an angry glance. Suddenly, Hanabi bumped into her rival, sensei. This instantly frustrated her. Just then, Muji stepped in to help gather the items that sensei dropped. Initially, Hanabi thought Muji was just one of sensei's fanboys, but she noticed the way he looked at sensei and realized they were alike. While the two of them were talking on the balcony, Muji revealed that sensei used to be his tutor. He recounted their time together, which led to their friendship. Time flew by, and without realizing it, they grew closer to each other. While Muji was playing a video game, Hanabi spontaneously hugged him. She asked him if he was feeling lonely. Muji took her to the bed and asked, "What if you just imagine that I'm your big brother?"
お兄ちゃんだと思ってみれば。
He started kissing her neck. Hanabi came to the realization that Muji had no romantic feelings for her and that she was merely a replacement for sensei in his eyes. While Muji was kissing her, thoughts of her big brother suddenly crossed her mind. She started envisioning her big brother as Muji. When Muji kissed her, she admitted that it was her very first kiss.
気持ちいい.
Muji began undressing her. As Muji undressed her, she reminded herself that these hands belonged to her big brother. Just like Muji, who maintained silence, she also refrained from making any noise to avoid reminding him that she was Hanabi. She wanted him to continue fantasizing and imagining himself with sensei. Hanabi gave it a try to imagine her big brother. Suddenly, her smartphone rang, and it was her big brother texting her. Consequently, they stopped what they were doing. Soon after, Hanabi went back to Muji's house. Muji was surprised because he thought Hanabi wouldn't return. Muji suggested that they publicly announce themselves as a couple so they can support each other whenever needed. They came to a mutual agreement that as long as they didn't develop romantic feelings for each other, their relationship would continue. They acknowledged that if either of them were to enter a romantic relationship with someone they truly loved, their own relationship would come to an end. Afterward, Hanabi went to Muji's classroom to fetch him, but it seemed like Muji was still occupied. Suddenly, Ichan invited Hanabi to take a walk home together, mentioning that it had become a rare occurrence for them to leave together. By the way, Ichan was Hanabi's only close female friend. Eventually, Muji finished what he was doing. Hanabi apologized to Ichan for not being able to accompany her home. Ichan reassured her, saying, "It's okay, because he's your boyfriend, so you should prioritize him." And so, the two of them set off on their walk home. While feeling down, the two of them were observed by Ichan. As they walked home, the fake couple shared a bottle of water, and Muji attempted to kiss Hanabi. Suddenly, a little girl shouted, causing them both to stop. It turned out to be Muji's childhood friend, Mocha. They lived in the same apartment building. When they were children, while playing in the sand, a woman remarked that they looked like a prince and princess when they were together. Embracing her imagination, the young girl truly believed she was a princess. She let her hair grow long, refrained from playing with other boys, and began collecting cute items. She did everything within her power to become a true princess, with the only missing piece being her prince. Now, let's come back to the present. Muji introduced the two girls to each other, introducing Hanabi as his girlfriend. However, Mocha didn't believe it. It turned out that Hanabi and Mocha knew each other and had a past conflict during their grade school years. Mocha confronted Hanabi, stating that they weren't compatible and accusing Hanabi of pretending to be kind only when Muji was around. Muji acknowledged that Hanabi had some negative qualities, but those were part of who she was, and he accepted her for all of it. This touched Hanabi, leading her to grab Mocha's collar and tell her, "If I were you, I wouldn't cling to things that don't belong to me."
から人のものにあんまり無許可でひっつかないでね。
On the rooftop, the two fake lovers had a conversation about why Hanabi had to be harsh with Mocha the day before. Hanabi suggested, "Why don't you just reject her outright since you love Managawa-sensei? It would be better for Mocha because it seems like you're worried about her." Muji questioned, "Why are you so bothered? Maybe you're just feeling jealous." Hanabi refuted it and they shared another passionate kiss. Upon reaching the canteen, Mocha noticed the throng of people and realized it would be difficult for her to make a purchase. Muji surprised her with some bread, causing Mocha to feel thrilled. Muji had bought the things she desired without her having to mention them. According to Mocha, the time spent with Muji was the best and the only reason she felt alive. While the two pretended to be a couple during lunch, Mocha inserted herself and interrupted their moment. To make matters worse, Mocha snatched Hanabi's fried chicken while they were sharing a meal, and both Hanabi and Muji ignored her. Irritated, Hanabi couldn't hold back and scolded Mocha, telling her not to interfere in their relationship. As a result, Mocha decided to leave, but not before revealing to Muji that Hanabi was just using him and didn't truly have feelings for him. Ichan overheard Mocha's comments. Next, Hanabi assisted her big brother in bringing some documents to the language prep room. Blushing, Hanabi realized that she would have a moment alone with her big brother, possibly giving her the opportunity to express her true feelings and be viewed as a woman, rather than a child. All of a sudden, she heard the enchanting sound of a piano playing. It turns out that Managawa-sensei plays the piano in the music room. Her big brother was delighted by the sound. Hanabi, on the other hand, was not pleased. After school, she sulked at the karaoke place. She shouted into the microphone, saying that obviously, she could play the piano because she was a music teacher. Muji scolded her for almost deafening him. He told her that there were plenty of guys who were more handsome and younger than her big brother. "But I didn't say it was me." Hanabi invited him to sing, and the two pretended couples sang together. In the end, Hanabi couldn't help but shed tears due to what she had witnessed earlier. Muji embraced her, understanding her pain as they both had unrequited feelings for someone. Suddenly, Muji gently pushed her onto the seat. He told her to stick out her tongue, and the two fake lovebirds shared another passionate kiss. Then, Muji heard a woman calling his name. She told him, "Muji, hold on to me." This made Muji pause in his actions.
あわや、触ってよ。
That's why Hanabi called out to Muji by his name. But Muji replied, "Shouldn't you call me big brother?"
違うでしょ、お兄ちゃん。
そうだね。
お兄ちゃん。
Hanabi touched Muji's face, but when he looked at her, he saw Managawa-sensei instead. At school, two girls suddenly approached Hanabi and asked if they could talk about their love lives. Hanabi asked Muji if she should agree to the two girls, and Muji told her that there's nothing wrong with it. He advised her to say yes to the two girls and consider it as a chance to have more friends since she doesn't have many. At the restaurant, the two girls discussed their problems. Ayumi had a childhood friend named Hiro, and because they were close friends, it became normal for them to start dating when they reached junior high school. When they were young and oblivious, they made a promise to be each other's forever. However, as they entered high school, they ended up attending different schools, and Hiro cheated on her. Despite that, Ayumi couldn't bring herself to let go of him, so she agreed to be his mistress. Unfortunately, Ayumi's senpai caught them together. Moreover, Ayumi developed feelings for her senpai due to his kindness. She still couldn't release her grip on Hiro, resulting in her having two boyfriends, Hiro and her senpai. In response, Hanabi questioned, "Aren't you just doing the same thing Hiro did to you?" Hanabi asked the girl who she liked more between the two guys. But the girl couldn't make up her mind. Hanabi couldn't understand why the girl was struggling, because if she had to choose between her big brother and another guy, she would pick her big brother without hesitation, and Muji would do the same for Minagawa-sensei. Hanabi told the girl that if she liked both of them a lot and the idea of being separated from them hurt her, maybe it was better not to choose anyone. But the girl said she didn't have a strong preference for either of them, she just couldn't decide who was the best option. Hanabi couldn't believe what she was hearing. Later, while they were having lunch, Hanabi casually asked Ichan if she had a crush on someone. Seeing Ichan's reaction, Hanabi realized that she actually had feelings for someone. Curious, Hanabi asked Ichan why she liked that person. Was it because of their skills and what they could do? But Ichan replied that their abilities were just a small part of who they were, and that wasn't the reason why she was drawn to them. Hanabi was delighted by what she heard and embraced Ichan, agreeing with her that a person's abilities shouldn't be the basis for love. Hanabi invited Ichan to have a sleepover at her place so they could have a long chat. Following that, Ichan couldn't decide which pajamas to wear. Blushing, she felt shy about sleeping next to Hanabi. Soon enough, Ichan arrived at Hanabi's house. In her thoughts, she realized that being both girls, they could engage in activities like this, and she considered herself lucky. Next, they showed how Ichan and Hanabi met each other. Ichan was on a train when a man suddenly tried to harass her, but Hanabi quickly came to her rescue. Using her smartphone, Hanabi took a picture of the man standing behind them. Coincidentally, they were both heading to the same place and were taking the entrance exam for their desired high school. Ichan expressed her gratitude to Hanabi for what she did. But Hanabi held her hand because she knew Ichan was scared, and she asked how she was feeling. On that day, Hanabi didn't let go of her hand until they arrived at the school where they would be taking the entrance exam. And according to her, that was her first love. Before that day, she believed that she didn't like guys or maybe she wasn't interested in them. But because of Hanabi, she gained clarity about what she really wanted. The two of them had a conversation, and that night they slept side by side. Ichan felt nervous, fearing that Hanabi might hear the strong beating of her heart since the bed they shared was small. Ichan gazed at Hanabi while she was asleep.
Let's be honest.
Suddenly, Hanabi spoke and asked Ichan about the person she liked. Ichan couldn't find her voice to respond. Unable to hold back, Ichan leaned in and kissed Hanabi. Hanabi was taken aback by the sudden kiss. Ichan told Hanabi that she knew she didn't really like Muji and questioned why she pretended to have feelings for him. According to Ichan, what she was doing now was a gamble. If she truly loved Muji, she would forget everything and move on. Hanabi asked Ichan about what she had been saying. Ichan responded, saying that she knew because she always watched and sensed that Hanabi didn't love Muji. Hanabi admitted that she loved someone else, but that person didn't love her back, so she chose to be with Muji. Ichan then asked, "Why not me?"
いいじゃん。私でも慰められるかもしれないよ。
She suggested that she could provide comfort and confessed her true feelings for Hanabi, saying that she loved her. The next day, Hanabi's mother asked her to buy some ingredients. As she walked, she thought about the events of the previous night and realized how heavy it felt to be someone else's fantasy. Hanabi encountered Mocha along the way, but she ignored her when Mocha called out to her. While walking, Mocha asked Hanabi why she needed to use Muji. She added that Hanabi didn't need Muji and told her not to take him away from her. Then, there was a flashback of Muji's memory from his first year. Muji was with his friends when he caught the attention of a senior girl named Mei. His friends were excited about their attractive senior girls, especially Mei, commenting on her slim figure and large melons. Muji remembered what happened between him and Mei, realizing that she was indeed extremely thin to the point of being scary, and her melons were indeed large. Her skin was very pale as well. But she always seemed sad and didn't appear normal. Her body felt extremely cold, as if she wasn't real. Muji felt a multitude of emotions and became scared of Mei. Suddenly, he woke up from his dream, realizing that he was surprised to see Hanabi inside his house and wondered how she managed to get in. According to Hanabi, she rang the doorbell, but the door was already open, so she just went inside and joined him. Hanabi suddenly lied down beside him, taking him by surprise. However, Muji felt embarrassed, afraid that Hanabi might notice that he was. Unexpectedly, Muji hugged her, attempting to hide how he is. Despite Muji's attempts to hide it, Hanabi noticed that his frozen banana was. Muji then asked Hanabi to touch his hard meat stick. Muji suddenly remembered her senior back then, and it was the moment they were about to part ways as Mei was graduating. Muji couldn't help but cry, and Mei comforted her, saying, "Don't you love your tutor?" Mei also apologized, feeling like she had stolen Muji's childhood. Even though their relationship was kept secret and seemed like just a fling, Muji believed it was more than just a fling to him. Returning to the present, he stopped Hanabi's hand just as it was about to touch his frozen banana. And Hanabi asked him why not. Muji said he might not be able to control himself. Hanabi expressed her desire to do it. Then Muji remembered Mei once again, thinking that history might be repeating itself, but this time it was Hanabi, and he felt like he was just a toy for these girls. Suddenly, Hanabi forcefully grabbed his frozen cucumber, causing pain to Muji. But Hanabi admitted that she didn't know how to do it properly because it was her first time. So Muji taught her how to handle his sensitive spot.
Cool.
Hanabi mentioned that she feels calm when she's with Muji. Muji asked her why. Hanabi expressed that their previous actions may have made her more comfortable with Muji. It turned out that Hanabi had to change her clothes because her outfit got splattered with an organic protein shake. Muji asked Hanabi why he was still not leaving her bed, to which she suddenly burst into tears. She confessed that she wanted to try loving him, and they smiled at each other. That evening, while they were dining at a restaurant, they bumped into Minagawa-sensei, accompanied by a man. Minagawa-sensei greeted them warmly. The two were surprised by what they saw, wondering why Minagawa-sensei was with a man at that hour. Hanabi thought that the man might be Minagawa-sensei's younger sibling. Suddenly, the man hugged her. Before they left, Minagawa-sensei advised them to keep what they saw a secret. While they were at school, Hanabi mentioned that Minagawa-sensei had a hidden side to her personality, but Muji defended her and said he knew the man who was with Minagawa-sensei last night. It turns out that he was also a student of Minagawa-sensei, as he had seen them in the library before. Hanabi abruptly walked out, not believing that the person with Minagawa-sensei was just a student. She accused Muji of turning a blind eye to what they saw. Hanabi felt different about the situation, so she decided to confront Minagawa-sensei directly. She asked if the person with her last night was her boyfriend. Minagawa-sensei replied that he was just a friend. However, Hanabi couldn't help but worry about her big brother and his feelings for this girl. The school bell rang, and Minagawa-sensei headed back to the classroom. Hanabi noticed that as she ran, she could smell the scent of cigarettes, and he was wearing the same clothes he had on yesterday. Following that, Minagawa-sensei's backstory unfolds. According to her, she might have been too self-centered and focused on seeking validation from others. She believed there was no point if you weren't desired by someone else. She didn't have a profound reason for it, she simply found pleasure in being desired by others.
She's always been a f***ing bitch.
She recalled a high school memory when a boy returned her handkerchief. Coincidentally, that boy happened to be the one her friend had feelings for. She knew they were a perfect match, but she felt somewhat irritated by it, so she held the boy's hand instead of returning the handkerchief. In reality, she had no interest in the boy himself but was interested in the attention she received from her friend. That's why she couldn't help but try to seduce him. Her friend ran away, and when she saw her crying, Minagawa-sensei apologized and said she was surprised by what she saw, but she was okay with it and still wanted to be friends. What she felt at that time wasn't regret or superiority over her friend. What she felt was that she didn't want to be in the same position as her friend. And that day, she realized that she had a tendency to take advantage of others. But she couldn't do anything about it because she envied people who could love others beyond themselves. After their first round, Minagawa-sensei asked what happened to the guy's previous girlfriend. He said they had broken up a long time ago. This made Minagawa-sensei think that there was no longer any proof that this person was worth pursuing. So she lost interest in him. She couldn't tell if someone was good or not when they didn't receive attention from others. She noticed that Hanabi was looking at her, and she realized that Hanabi might truly love Kanai-sensei. Sensei suddenly asked her if they could go out later after school. But Managawa-sensei declined and suggested that they meet in the music room instead. Hanabi approached and asked Managawa-sensei if the guy she was with last night was her boyfriend. Managawa-sensei denied it, saying that he was just a friend. According to Managawa-sensei, it's all Hanabi's fault because she hasn't realized that they're the same. Because Hanabi is doing the same thing to Mocha, who has feelings for Muji. It's really Hanabi's fault because she doesn't actually have feelings for Kanai-sensei. And she just wants to see Hanabi's face in pain repeatedly. She invited Hanabi to talk in the music room, and she's excited to see Hanabi's hurt face even more.
楽しみ。早く見たいな。搾取されるあなたの顔。
The scene shifts to Narumi-sensei waiting for Managawa-sensei in the music room, just as they had planned. As he waits, we delve into Narumi-sensei's backstory. We flash back to 3 months ago, the start of the school year and Narumi-sensei's first day as a teacher. It was a lovely spring day, with cherry blossoms gracefully falling around him as he made his way to the school where he would begin teaching. Along the way, thoughts of his mother, who had passed away long ago, filled his mind. He couldn't help but imagine how proud she would be to see him as a teacher. Over the years, as memories of his mother began to fade, the one thing that remained vivid in Narumi-sensei's mind was her long, flowing hair. Interestingly, it was that very same feature he noticed in the woman standing before him, Managawa-sensei. It was their first meeting, and Narumi-sensei couldn't help but feel an instant attraction. He describes it as love at first sight. To his surprise and delight, fate seemed to have a hand in their connection. They discovered that they would be working together as co-teachers in the same school. Narumi-sensei couldn't believe his luck. He thought Managawa-sensei was too good to be true, and from that moment on, he started to believe it was destiny bringing them together. As the two met in the music room, Narumi-sensei mustered up all his courage to confess his feelings to Managawa-sensei. Just as he was about to pour out his heart, the timing couldn't have been worse. Hanabi walked into the room, witnessing her beloved big brother professing his love to another woman. It felt like a meticulously set trap, and Hanabi's heart sank as she saw the pain in her own face reflected back at her. Meanwhile, Managawa-sensei seemed to derive some twisted pleasure from the situation, almost relishing the sight of Hanabi's anguish. Overwhelmed with emotions, Hanabi sought solace in the language prep room, berating herself for her own inaction that seemed to have driven her big brother away. Despite her pain, Hanabi couldn't help but admire her big brother for having the courage to express his feelings so openly. She saw him as someone amazing, willing to put himself out there and take risks in matters of the heart. Secretly, deep down, Hanabi fervently wished that her big brother and Managawa-sensei wouldn't start dating. The mere thought of seeing them together constantly was too much for her to bear. Acting on impulse, Hanabi rushed to Muji's house, eager to share the events that had unfolded. However, hesitating at the doorbell, she couldn't bring herself to ring it. Overwhelmed by the feeling of relying too much on him, she decided to turn back and head home. However, just as Hanabi was about to head home, she unexpectedly ran into Ichon. The atmosphere between them became tense and awkward. Hanabi questioned if Ichon had followed her, seeking confirmation. Ichon honestly admitted that she had indeed followed Hanabi. Overwhelmed with a mix of emotions, Hanabi found solace in Ichon's embrace, but also felt guilty for relying on her in this manner. Ichon reassured Hanabi, offering support and understanding. Ichon guides Hanabi back to her room, creating a sense of intimacy between them. As they share a moment together, Ichon gently asks Hanabi if she feels nervous about being with a girl for the first time. Hanabi honestly confesses that her nervousness stems from the fact that Ichon is her friend. Without any hesitation, Ichon surprises Hanabi with a sudden kiss, revealing her desire to be seen as more than just a friend, someone who could potentially be a love interest like Muji. Observing Hanabi's emotional state, Ichon pauses and asks if she should stop. Hanabi assures Ichon that she doesn't want her to stop, expressing her deep care and affection for her. Ichan knows that Hanabi cares about her as a friend, and the only reason Hanabi can't refuse her is because she doesn't want to lose their friendship. Because of this, Ichan intends to exploit Hanabi for the hurtful things she has done, and if Hanabi will never love her in return, she'll settle for whatever she can get, even if it's just her warmth. As Ichan continues to have her way with Hanabi, Hanabi's mind drifts to some what-if scenarios where she confessed to her big brother. And while Ichan was kissing her, Hanabi was calling for her big brother just like what she did when she was with Muji.
Ani-chan.
Hanabi acknowledges that imagining her older brother while being with Ichan doesn't work. Instead, she can only see Ichan as the person she knows. Returning to reality, Ichan asks Hanabi once again if she should stop. However, Hanabi confesses that it feels pleasurable when Ichan touches her. Ichan explains that it's because I love you, and she can sense the deep care Ichan has for her. As their interaction continues, Hanabi finds solace and fills the void she feels with Ichan. On her way home, Hanabi encountered a ghostly vision of her younger self, overwhelmed with guilt. She realized she couldn't go back to being just friends with Ichan, as she had used her and toyed with her feelings. Hanabi condemned herself, feeling no better than the woman who manipulates others' emotions, considering both of them to be scums. In the next scene, Hanabi confronted Minagawa-sensei once again. Minagawa-sensei asked if Hanabi was angry at her because of Narumi-sensei or Muji. Hanabi was taken aback, realizing that this woman was also aware of Muji's feelings. Minagawa-sensei admitted that she wasn't certain, but she believed that since Muji couldn't reach her, he sought solace with an available classmate. Hanabi was disgusted by Minagawa-sensei's statement, as if she was boasting about how both men were in love with her. Out of anger, Hanabi questioned if it was truly enjoyable to be desired by people she had no interest in. However, Minagawa-sensei confessed that there is no greater feeling than being desired by men.
気持ちいいものなんてないのに。
And that is all for our anime recap for today. How will you rate this anime's spiciness level? Let me know in the comments. Yamimi thinks although Scum's wish is a dumpster fire in itself, from all the drama going on, I mean, look at the seats. Yamimi thinks it's still a well-written anime, having an interesting and dark take to the romance genre. Well, that's it for today. This has been Yamimi. See you again next time. Bye bye!